This is my Minecraft world, and this is my base, or at least it's going to be. I have a vision to create a massive, sprawling Minecraft base composed of floating islands, and this is the area that we're going to make it in. Today we're going to be constructing the entrance to the base, which is composed of multiple floating islands connected by bridges. And then later on in the video we're going to be making some very useful farms for getting emeralds from villagers. So around here is where I want to put the first floating island. As you can see, I already have one up here. This is one that I built as a little test, and it even has a secret entrance, which is how you get in. Down here is where my moss farm goes. I will definitely need to run this thing quite a lot to get all the materials I need to build all of the floating islands I have planned today. Let's put it on moss mode and load it up. Now while the moss farm is cranking away, I'm definitely going to need a lot of cobblestone and stone for this project. I have a lot of andesite and tuff already, but I'm running severely low on cobblestone and regular stone. Alright, I think I have most of the materials I'll need. I just gotta transfer quite a few of them from these chests over here, which were for this island, to the chests over there, which are for the new island. Okay, jumping into a little bit of time-lapse footage here. As you can see, I'm just constructing the first island here. It's a very cool style, I think. Those points at the bottom of the island really accentuate the whole mystical, otherworldliness of this. It's definitely in a fantasy style here. I built a small stone hut on the top of the island that is going to act as the entrance to this island. We're going to be able to go up through it in a water stream. And I'm also littering the islands with a few ruined structures to really give them that old ancient vibe, which is what I want for this stone architecture here. The main part of this first island is pretty much done now, and I gotta say, I love this. This is brilliant, and I love how it came out. There's just something about the vibe of floating islands that I'm just so drawn to, and I can't wait to have my base on these. You may be wondering why I've built it in this specific location at the end of this pathway, and that's because this floating island is going to act as the entrance to my base. This is going to be the one that lets you get up from the ground to the sky there, which is why it's got this water pillar surrounded by glass. So we need to place our kelp down and start bone mealing it, because all of these need to be water source blocks. Filling that up allows us to create a bubble stream there, which will let us get up. I've even made a fancy redstone system down here that allows me to, when that's pressed, swap the block out for a soul sand. There's even some redstone inside this island here. See that there? I just need to fill this dropper with blocks, just enough blocks, or random items really, it doesn't have to be blocks. If we now hit this button, a block will drop down from the dispenser and change the current of the water. This now drags me down. And just in case you want to know how this is done, I'll go into free cam here. So we've got some hoppers here which collect the blocks that fall down there. That goes into a chest where you can collect them afterwards and reuse the blocks. But the main thing we want here is the comparator output from this hopper goes into a observer, which goes into a T flip-flop, which flip-flops if you drop a block into the thing. That goes into the block swapper, and that swaps the magma for a soul sand, or vice versa. That same system also is triggered by this note block here. Now we gotta build what comes next, which are gonna be islands in a very similar style to this, probably not as big as this, but a similar size. And I want about 2 more islands across here with bridges connecting them that will then lead up to the main base island that will go somewhere around here. And that will be the main base with the storage system and just everything you need in your main base area. But the really cool thing about this base in particular is that every single island will have a use. So whenever I want to make a new farm, for example, let's say a sugarcane farm, I will build a new floating island to house that farm, and every single farm will have its own aesthetic for its island. For example, The moss farm is a moss-covered rock, and it's also got an azalea tree because that's what you find in the moss biome, and that represents the moss farm. I believe I have enough resources for this in the chest down there, so let's use up the rest of those resources on the next few islands. The whole story with this base I want to kind of have in a couple of different phases. So you have the phase of it where you have this stone architecture, and the main base itself is going to have that stone architecture to it as well. And all that stone stuff was built by an ancient race of builders that for some reason have been eradicated now. They're the ones who made these islands float and made them come to this specific location. There must have been some kind of calamity or something, and that's why the islands rose. So then they made their way up to those islands, and then they started building their architecture on them. They started building bridges in between the islands out of their stone because their whole thing was this very rugged stone architecture. And then these islands here would lead up to their main citadel or cathedral. Of course, sadly, that didn't work because the ancient race of builders has sadly gone. And then after that, I found them. I moved in here and I built some stuff. Alright, here we are. We have the first 5 islands here. I said I was going to do about 2 more, but then I decided, let's do 5 in total. I think the amount of bridges and just the whole flow of this is better than if I just did 2 islands. And then it leads into this nice large area here where the main base island is going to go. This here is another block swapper that will swap a water column to a little platform I still need to build. Then you can jump off that platform onto the main base island, which will be preceded by a very large bridge, and then that bridge will lead up to the main base, which is going to be a massive castle or cathedral on top of a massive floating island. From there, you'll be able to access other parts of the base, either by obviously just flying with an elytra, or there might be specialised bridges like this that will take you to other parts of the base, which of course will all be on separate floating islands. Since the time lapses, I've actually gone ahead and added all the details underneath the bridges here. Dripstone and the rooted dirt and glowberries underneath all the islands, and I've also added, these are the supports of the bridges that have corroded away. But I think we'll build this platform now. So I've gone ahead and collected all the things from the chests to build this last bit here. I'm kind of running out of resources now, but I had all the spruce and stuff I needed. I've created so many chest monsters around my world. I'm going to be glad in a couple of weeks to have my storage system up and running here. This isn't that big of a build, so I'll just go ahead and build this right now, and we'll just cut to when it's done. And there we have it. That is the platform there that's going to actually lead onto the base. Now it's got to kelp this. I can't kelp myself from doing this. There we go. Beautiful. So yes, this is the final bit here. I wanted to add kind of a man-made thing to this that definitely looks like it's from a different era. I'm kind of imagining the stone as coming first, like the kind of ancient ruins, and then the wooden architecture is new settlers coming in. Now in my own time, I've gone and built this massive villager trading hall, and I filled it all up, tons of villagers inside here, loads of librarians, but I don't have a very good source of emeralds. So I want to build a melon and a pumpkin farm that will just get me easy emeralds. We're going to build 2 more islands, one for a melon and one for a pumpkin farm. And I want to show you the idea behind the whole making the island themed after the farm that's inside of it, because we've not really done much of that yet, apart from that mossy rock over there. It's montage time. So I've already built the farms here, I built them off camera. Now it's time to surround the farms with some dirt. First things first, what I went and did is I went and created a kind of wireframe for the island here. What I did is I connected the bits of the wireframe together, and that really helped me to visualize the shape. Then I went and collected some podzol and also some dirt because I actually ran out of it. So I'm going to be using podzol instead of moss or grass, just to give it that more like earthy, natural vibe to it. Then I just added like a fake farm on top with some giant pumpkins on the top there too, which I really like the look of. carved pumpkins on a little bench here, which kind of shows the process of making those. Then I went and textured the whole thing, and then I went and built a second island. We're just going to show the differences here. A rock made out of dripstone and also some giant melons as well, which I love. And then we're going to connect the islands with a nice wooden bridge, which again is in the same colour palette. It really adds to that rural, earthy vibe. And that's what they look like together with the bridge. Up the second bubble elevator here, and I haven't actually stood up this bit properly. This is quite cool, huh? The little floating platform. This is part of the aesthetic that I want to do. But yes, back to these islands. They are producing like crazy, and I believe I added a little thing here. Yep, so we're gonna have to use the elytra. Huh. Well, that's not a very good idea, is it? I'll put that there. And then we'll be able to see that, yep, I have a very good source of emeralds now. Got about a couple of stacks there. I have done some selling already. I believe there is another hole like here, yes. And wow, that's a lot of melons. I definitely need to put some like proper chests on here, but ideally, I'd love it if all of these fed in through pipes, real like steampunk-like, into the main base. Now with these, I can sell them to the farmers and I'll actually have a pretty steady source of emeralds. Because farmers and Fletchers are probably the best source of emeralds. But yeah, if I cure them, I can probably get that down to 1. And you will give me some... Brilliant, I just got 42 emeralds from all that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have definitely enjoyed making it. The next step on the base obviously is to make the main base, which is something that I will chip away at in the next few videos. I'm going to do it in stages. I need to build the main island, which is going to take a bunch of resources, and I'll give you another like little sneak peek of that's kind of where the bridge is going to go, and that's the main island. In between episodes, I'll probably do quite a lot of grinding to get all the materials I need. I need a lot of moss, a lot of dirt, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I do have a Patreon if you want to support me, help me make these videos a little bit more sustainably. I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to start work on the base.